If you clicked on this video, it means your thumbnails probably suck. But that's okay because so did mine. There's a lot that goes into making a thumbnail, but if I had to guess, I'd say your biggest struggle is in Photoshop. Adjustment layers, clipping masks, it's like a completely different language. Well, fear not. I'll be walking you through a step-by-step guide that covers my personal workflow, as well as tips and secrets that I use to get my clients seen on YouTube. But really quickly before we hop in, I want to let you know that if you are not in my Discord already, you need to join. My members can all vouch that the amount of value I give away for free is insane. I'm also giving away extra to members who RSVP for my content coaching, which I'm going to be launching very soon. I'll have free and paid versions, so be sure not to miss out. It's just a Google form survey. It seriously takes 2 minutes. I'll leave it pinned in my announcements channel if you're interested. Alright guys, so I want to preface a few things very quickly. First of all, I don't know how long this video is going to be, so I'm going to try my best to timestamp this video so you can click around to the spot you want to go to. But I think I'm going to cover a lot of valuable things today, so if you want to stick around for the full thing, be my guest. Secondly, this video is more specifically tailored for people in the gaming niche. That's just the niche I've worked in my entire career, so naturally all my thumbnails are going to be gaming related. But if you're in a completely different niche, finance, education, UGC, I still want you to watch the video, especially if you're new to Photoshop. There's probably still a lot of information I'm going to give you today that you can apply to your own niche. So what I have open right now is my Behance page. This is sort of just a portfolio website that comes with Adobe, and I have it open because I want to show you guys sort of my progression. I started off making finals thumbnails on Fiverr, and looking back, these are terrible. But the reason I'm showing you is because I want you to know everybody starts somewhere. You can start worse than this, you can start better than this, it doesn't matter, we all start somewhere. It's like going to the gym, right? Something I'm going to try my best to teach you guys today is being able to cut out characters and guns like you see here. These were not screenshots from in-game. I had to cut these images out and put them onto different backgrounds. It's the same thing here. These are all renders and stuff that I found online. These are not screenshots from in-game. Something that people seem to struggle with a lot in Photoshop is getting clean cuts and like masking things out. So I'm going to try to cover that today with you guys. Something else I want to cover is like the actual layout of the thumbnail. I've said this before, but the purpose of a thumbnail is to get an idea across quickly and effectively. I'm going to try my best to show you guys how I typically like to make sure that happens. I'm just going to like scroll the Behance browse page. If we look at some other designers, we'll see that all of these have a very clear picture and like there's an obvious theme to the thumbnail, and you can pretty much tell what the video is going to be about just by looking at it. That is 100% the most important part. Can you tell what the video is about just by looking at it? But anyways, how can we translate that to gaming so that we can get more views on our videos and get seen? Okay, so the first thing I want to show you guys is how to actually cut out a subject from a background. Now, if you're in my Discord, you know how I made this thumbnail already because I have a video covering it, but there are times where you will need to pull a character out from a background in order to put them where you want in a thumbnail, especially in the gaming niche. So to do this, it's pretty simple. If you press W on your keyboard, it'll pull up your selection tools. Now, if you hold this, you can click and see the 3 different options. And as you're seeing here, this will let you just manually move your mouse around and select what you're wanting to pick out from the image. But there's an easier way to do this. After you press W, if you go up to select subject, it'll load for a second, and then it will auto pick out whatever the most prominent figure on the image is. Now, if we go down here to our mask button, it's going to single it out for us. If you mask an image, it's going to erase everything that you have unselected, except it's not actually gone. If you make sure your mask is selected on the right, you can actually paint over the image to add it back to your selection. If you still don't get it, you can look up a tutorial on YouTube. There's tons of them out there. But yeah, black will erase and white will bring it back. So yeah, that's how we get our character out from a background. If you see I'm toggling it on and off, this is the difference. This is all it is. Now, what happens if you try to auto-select it, but it doesn't accurately cover the whole image? If we go up to select and mask, we'll be able to use the brush tool to manually add in the parts of the image that we want to include. You can also use the auto selector up at the top left, but I just like to use the brush because it's a lot more accurate, and I don't mind taking the extra time to cut this out properly. As you can see here, I'm just adding the rest of this helmet here. You can alt right click to drag the size, and you go up and down to do the softness and the smoothness. But yeah, this is really simple, and once you get good at it, it shouldn't take you more than 2 minutes. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through how to make a full thumbnail once you have a render. Like I mentioned before, if you're in my Discord or if you just click on my channel, you know how to make this render already. Or you can just find one online and do the method I just taught you to pull it from the background. So the first thing I kind of like to do is set my layout. How do I want this thumbnail to be formatted? I think for this mock thumbnail, I'm going to do a blueprint video, probably something like where to find blueprints or blueprint guide. So that's why I have this guy holding the books. I'm going to have blueprints sort sort of coming out of them, sort of to show like he's the master of blueprints. Okay, so next let's find a background. Here on Google, I literally just searched up Stella Montes background. Now you can pull these screenshots from in-game, you can get them from the Reddit wiki, it really doesn't matter, all you need is a background. I've personally been finding a lot of blueprints in Seed Vault, so let's use a picture of that. So we're just going to drag our subject over the background. Now we're not finished here, this is just the layout, we're going to continue this later, but first we're going to add our blueprint things that we want to have coming out of the books. Okay, so here are our blueprints. I put the Raider Flare and the Deadline Mine. If you don't know how to make these, I have a video on this on my channel already. These were made using my ARC pack, which you can get for free in my Discord, join down below. Or you can just take a screenshot from in-game, it's completely up to you. But these are better. I think for this format, I kind of just wanted to have my subject with the books and then the 2 blueprints coming out to show that he's learning the blueprints, but we definitely still need something on this left side to fill in the dead space. And also our background isn't the best here with just the colors and everything, but we're going to fix that in a second. So I think to add some text, we're just going to do T and make our selection here. I have a whole list of thumbnail fonts in my Discord, but I think we're going to go with something more condensed here, probably this font. So if we take our text and drag it behind, we should get this cool effect where the character and the blueprints are in front of our text. Okay, so this is the layout I kind of want of my thumbnail. As you can see, I have everything sort of in place, but nothing's really blended yet, and I don't really like how everything looks together. So now we're gonna go through and fix that. Okay, so to start, we can kind of see our render here is a little bit too brown for our background. So to fix that, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to our subject and add a curves adjustment layer. Then we're gonna mask it to our subject, and we're gonna click this drop down, and we're just gonna go one by one, clicking this little hand icon on the top right, and we're just gonna drag and adjust in the same spot until everything looks like sort of natural. Probably needs a lot less green and more blue because it's kind of snowy. And then we can adjust the brightness just a little bit, you know, just until it looks natural in our thumbnail. Okay, so I'm gonna toggle on and off the layer to show you the difference. And as you can see, the difference is pretty big. Again, all this is a curves adjustment layer. Sorry if I'm not the best teacher. If what I just did was confusing, definitely look up a tutorial on your own. But I mean, it makes a night and day difference, and I typically end up doing this for all my thumbnails. Okay, next, we're gonna adjust the background just so you can see the picture more clearly. Right now, if you zoom in, you can see it's really like grainy, and it just doesn't blend well with everything. So we're gonna click our background, and we're gonna make it a smart object, just in case we mess up and we wanna undo anything. If we add like a very slight Gaussian blur, we can kind of eliminate that grain, but we definitely don't want to do too much. Also, if we click on it and we go to reduce noise, we can denoise it a ton. And if we zoom in, you can see if we toggle on and off the reduce noise layer I just did, it makes a pretty big difference. And it just helps us sort of blend everything together. Okay, so next, let's get our text to stand out just a little bit more. If we take all of our separate text that I add here, we Control G group them, then Control J and Control E, we'll have a layer here with our text in a group just in case we want to edit it. And we also have a single merged layer of all the text together. So we're going to take the merged one, we're going to double click on it, and we'll add a small, maybe a stroke. And we'll add a small drop shadow. Nothing too overpowering, we just want to be able to read the text when it's smaller. Okay, so next what I typically like to do is add a exposure layer to our subject. You know, we can see what it changes if we do up and down, so we're going to do a little bit up, and we're going to Control I on the mask to invert it. That way we can draw on the brightness with our white brush. And what I like to do is sort of mimic the light of the environment and sort of add like a ring light around the character, and it just makes it look more natural and blended and more like a render that you would see in like a software like Blender. Here's the before and after difference. Again, this is really subtle, but I think it helps. And if we want, we can also do a shadow version, so we're going to crank it down, invert the layer, and then we'll do it for the shadows. Kind of just anywhere the model is like darker, but you typically don't want to do it on the face. Again, before and after. We're just kind of artificially messing with our lighting here. Okay, now I think I want to add a small outer glow on our blueprints. Yeah, something like that. Okay, cool. Now something we can do is if we do a linear dodge layer, so it glows on our background, we can take our brush, do like this color, and just go like that. Okay, and then finally, the last thing I like to do is group everything, Control J and Control E. That way we have a one layer thumbnail as well as our grouped thumbnail that we can edit later if we want to. Then go up to Image, Trim, so that way it's just a 1080p picture now. And then with our thumbnail selected, we're gonna go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter, And this is sort of where I like to make the final changes. There's a lot you can do in here, just sort of mess around with it until it looks natural. But I'm gonna go ahead and make those changes now. Yeah, okay, I think this is good. We're gonna press OK. And if we toggle on and off, you can sort of see the difference. All I really did was increase the sharpening, so it's more visible when it's smaller, like on phone or desktop. Okay, so here we have it. I think this is a nice little 5-minute thumbnail process that you can use to sort of improve your own workflow. I mean, hopefully you guys can end up learning something from this. If this does good, I will definitely make more in the future. I already have one planned for editing for my video editors out there. But yeah, again, if you guys are not in my Discord already, please be sure to join it. You'll be missing out on so much if you don't. All right, that's all from me. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.